Hello, this is Yama of Yama Bonsai and welcome to another episode of the Bonsai Academy. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share our movies and our page, of course. Today I want to talk about Olea and particularly Olea sylvestris, so the yamadori or the wild olive species that we can find in Europe. This is a species that I particularly love because they're quite easy to handle. You have to be a little bit careful with frost, but you can have like a progress in quite a small amount of time and you can shape a tree out of that. So today I have this beautiful piece of yamadori material from Italy. This one was collected by Giovanni Mugnas, who collects quite some beautiful olives over there, and also his work on his olive trees is also quite spectacular as well. So if you can find him on Facebook, try to be friends with him and you can see the magnificent work that he does on his olives as well. So this is a tree I got my hands on and I quite like the big trunk movement and the deadwood. And while I'm going to remove the weeds, because that's quite necessary as well, I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons from each side and which side we're going to use on this tree. For instance, what I like about this side is, as you can see, I'm going to remove this a little bit. Here you have a very beautiful base, a very beautiful movement in the deadwood as well. The only part that's not so very well is you don't really have a root base over here, starting to a little bit but not so well. Also here you can see this one coming too much to the front, and you see also while here there's a lot of bark. Here this part is quite still young and is still a young branch instead of a gnarly old feature of the tree. So that's a little bit of a shame. Then also here we have this big wound. Would be nice if they would have made this a little bit bigger, so Andres Bicocca could have made some beautiful deadwood work on this. But in future we need to find out something else. Maybe Andres can go inside and hollow it out, like this part of the trunk, hollow that out in here and make a little bit bigger until here to create more taper in the tree, because now we don't have a lot of taper into this tree exactly. Another possibility could also be this side. This side could be quite interesting as well, because here you see some hollow parts. Here you also have a beautiful piece of shari. Only the tree goes too much to there and then you don't see anything anymore. So you don't have any taper. So that's a shame. But what would be a possibility is if I'm going to, wait for a minute. If I would lift the tree a little bit. Let me check. Maybe a little bit more. I hope it doesn't drop. It's quite steady. So, if you can look from here, and if we would have some soil here, this could be an interesting part, because here we have a nice piece of jean with some hollow parts, lovely deadwood sticking out, and also we create a little bit more taper, because here we have this movement here, this movement there, then the movement repeats here again. Okay, so here we have the same movement that's going here, but then that over there. So actually what you can see is we create a very interesting line into this tree. Then if Andres Bicocca can work a little bit on this deadwood and here as well, and maybe make it a little bit more to here as well, so that it looks that it twists, then it could become quite interesting tree. Also, what could be a possibility is maybe here, but I think then the tree is going too much to the back and you don't see anything interesting. The base on this side is a little bit better, but I really don't like this part, and also this flat cut. It's not really my thing or my style. So I'm thinking of heading to this side to create a more interesting tree and more interesting movement. What do you guys think? Maybe even a little bit more here. I'm checking the camera as well to check how it suits, and that doesn't look bad. This part maybe still is a little bit big, but we're going to create taper here as well, so that it looks like movement going to there. So, okay. So I'm going to remove some more weeds, and then we're going to work on a branch structure. And I want to explain you, there are a few possibilities to do branch structure on olives. Is to work already with the branches that you have and wire them, create a beautiful shape in them, and then let them grow big. Or you can work with a branch, wire them the beginning, let them grow big and cut them back. Then new shoots come, these you will wire again, let them grow big, and then you wire them again. So there are a few possibilities that you can do. So later we will talk about that, and also about how olives are growing actually. So there's a specific way to work on them. So, but here in Belgium they grow quite fast. Only you have to be careful for frost. So they can handle a little bit, but you have to be careful with it. So what I always do is I put them in a greenhouse or in a garage. There's also a possibility. And then later on, I did 2 demo trees on 2 olives. They already growed a lot, and I did them as my demo tree for the trophy. So I will be talking about that as well. And then I'm going to show you another olive that I already have been working on for 3 or 4 years. And I will show you the result afterwards, and it's quite a neat result, if I say so myself. So I'm looking forward to share that as well. Okay? So, here I'm going to tell you what we're going to cut. And why. Bonsai for me is made out of, when you follow the guidelines that you can break actually, bonsai is made out of 3/3. So that means 1/3, 2/3 and 3/3. Okay? And that means the first third is your tashigari. And tashigari is from your root base until your first branch. And there, so that means that this will become your first branch. And there also the first part should be visible. So it means that this branch, we maybe could create an accent branch to break the rules. But in my opinion it would be better to show this movement off. So this one we're going to cut completely. So now we have a very big fat base with hollow parts in it. Beautiful denwood. And then here our first branch is going to start. And here we have a very big knob, and I think it's better to remove that knob. But also, here are some branches as well. This part, we're not going to use them. Here as well, I'm not going to use them. And this maybe we can let them grow out to create a beautiful back branch over here, okay? And then this will become our first branch. Maybe with a small apex, or maybe with a foliage cloud here and one here. What I try to make is, what's important is that you see the first start of your branch. So here, your junction. And so I can cut this one as well. And then this one I can wire here. And this one I can wire here to create a first beautiful foliage cloud. And then we have this one for the back. This one is growing up, and we can cut until here, okay? and then these I would remove as well, because this is quite a big lump, and maybe we can make a, maybe Andras Bikoka can make a jean out of that part. So what we'll be doing is I will completely remove the bark from that side, also to create more taper, so that this part will become movement and this deadwood. Okay. And then I can wire these. But also when I have my first branch, you have to create more open spaces. So here you will have more open spaces. I always create 3 foliage clouds, one here, and one in the back. So, and that they're alternating as well, okay? And while I'm doing this, later on, when I'm going to wire these, I'm going to explain also how the branches of olive work, and why and how we need to cut them. Olive wood is quite hard, so, and mostly they have also quite nice lines in the wood. So if Andres is coming here, we're going maybe to movie how he's going to improve the deadwood on these things, and I will show you later how it looks like. And I need to be a little bit careful before I need to go to the hospital. So this lump can become a very interesting deadwood part, because here, maybe you can zoom in. Because here you have a lot of knobs, look, and thicknesses, and when you work with a chisel in here, this can become a very interesting feature with these eyes in it, so that's quite interesting. He's a very good deadwood specialist, so I'm going to let him do that work, because I think he has put his mind into one detail of work, and that's only deadwood work on bonsai trees. And I rather let him do his work so that it's really perfect than me messing it up, or maybe do it half as good as him. So it's sometimes better to work together. Then you can, how do I say it in English? Then you can realize better things in life than do it all by yourself. So it's important that this line is coming from here, so I'm not harming the tree or the vein by doing this. And olive sprouts everywhere, so So guys, we did the first styling on this yamadori olive tree from Italy. I hope you guys enjoyed my knowledge that I shared with you today. This is just the first styling. In future we will decide what we will do with this tree, but first these branches need to thicken a lot, but really a lot. So that's the main goal. Then Anders Bikoka goes to my place, and then we will work on these deadwood places, and we will also sandblast this deadwood with silicate. This makes very beautiful deadwood, which we will show you guys later as well, because it really cuts into these grains and shows like a very neat structure into this deadwood. And this happens also in nature. You can do this with regular sand, white sand, but that gives more like a blunt texture, while this silicate gives more like a sharp texture, and that looks more beautiful. So now this tree can grow, the branches can become bigger and bigger, then after a while we can cut it back, maybe in a couple of months, maybe 1 or 2 months. That was it for today. I hope you guys liked it. We will show you also some other works on olives that already had the first styling, and will now have the second cleaning and cut work, because that's very important as well. I will show you how to cut, why, and explain this in a movie as well. Okay, so don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe to our channel, because we would really appreciate it, because we also share a lot of knowledge with you guys. So please do a little bit of an effort, and we will see you until the next time.